Hello and welcome to Abstract AF. I'm Sneha Jaswal and I'm going to be talking about Karna's Wife by Kavita Kane, which is a reimagination of mythological hero Karna's life through a fictional wife's eye. Now, between starting this novel and finally finishing reading it, I read about 12 other books. Granted, some of them were short comics, but the list also included the entire Poppy War trilogy by R.F. Kuang, each of which is over 600 pages long. That's twice the length of Karna's Wife. And that's how disappointingly boring this novel was. I couldn't go beyond a few pages in a day, and which is why I had to start reading other books so that I didn't fall back on my reading goals for the year. Now, the story follows Uravi, a princess born to King Vahusha and Queen Shubra of the fictional Pukeya kingdom. And this young royal falls in love at first sight with Karna when she sees him at a public combat exhibition in Hastinapura, where warriors display their skills. Defying expectations, she dares to choose Karna, a Sutaputra, son of a charioteer, over the legendary archer Arjuna. For a young princess raised in the lap of luxury, the social and political implications of becoming Karna's wife are staggering. Like the tagline of the book says, she becomes an outcast queen because most royal families look down upon Karna. What the author does in Karna's Wife is take the best of Mahabharata's heroes, rehashes this story just as we know it, and makes it insanely mundane to read by populating the book with annoyingly long, repetitive dialogues. I love it when novels focus more on action, dialogues, and not descriptions, and even though Karna's Wife is heavily dialogue-based, the exchanges are blandly verbose. If a good editor had edited this book, it would have been cut down by 100 pages, and then surely it would have been a lot more readable. Uravi, the central character, is first introduced as a love-struck young woman who's slightly charming and cute in the first few pages, but quickly becomes a whiny, privileged brat as the story progresses. Her romance with Karna feels fairly generic, and their conversations are dominated by clashes over Uravi's disapproval of his friendship with Duryodhana. Uravi's interactions with Karna's first wife and mother-in-law are barely explored, which is surprising for the story centered on the wife. Most of the story is just about things that we already know about Mahabharata. And even the descriptions in these books rarely help readers visualize the surroundings. And they're mostly long info dumps about what Urvi might be thinking. If you think I'm exaggerating, just listen to the following para from the book. It wasn't really in Urvi's nature to look down on people, but she often caught herself thinking the royal ladies were abominably dull, without any intellectual interests that made life so fulfilling. Most were smug about their wealth and status, but capable only of mediocre thoughts. Though they were mothers, their intellectual level remained unflailingly stupid. They read nothing that was worthwhile. They liked to talk more often about themselves or the latest piece of jewelry they had got for themselves. These pitiable women were devoured by petty jealousies and upset by pettier rivalries. They were malicious. Cushioned by wealth and power, they were pathetic in the smallness of their minds. Whew! That just tired me. That's just one para, so long, and again you can see it is quite repetitive. And how mean. She's supposedly an intellectual and she's bitching about other women. Ironically, Uravi's own interest rarely extends beyond her husband, despite being described as a healer, a skill we hardly ever see in action. Essentially, this book is mostly about Karna's wife bitching about everybody else, particularly the Kauravas, while also simmering with jealousy over Draupadi on the suspicion that Karna might be in love with her. A theme which is, again, already explored in countless other reimaginings of the Mahabharata. So yeah, there's very little originality in Karna's Wife. The only time the storytelling does shine in the book is when the author writes material that is already considered canon in the world of Mahabharata. Like I said, I couldn't get myself to read beyond 3-4 pages a day until I reached the last few chapters. The last 20% were gritty and exciting, and that's because it focuses on the 18-day Kurukshetra war between the Kauravas and the Pandavas, not Uravi, Karna's wife, the protagonist. If you're looking for modern reimaginings of epic Indian tales, I would recommend the Mahabharata, a modern rendering by Ramesh Menon, which is an excellent retelling of the epic war and also for 18+ readers, so please don't gift it to minors. And another book that I really enjoyed reading was The Palace of Illusions by Chitra Banerjee Devakaruni, which is written from Draupadi's perspective. For me, both these books were 5-star reads. How much would I rate Karna's Wife? 1 star on 5. But the book is also in Kindle Unlimited. I wouldn't recommend it, so it's up to you if you still want to go ahead and give it a go. That's all from me. Talk to you the next time.